Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney, and today is Friday, May 28th. Thanks for being here for your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Boy, is it a wet one out there, huh? To kick off this Memorial Day weekend, we have a live blog up on WKYC.com right now with important weather updates and changes that you're going to want to be aware of if you had certain plans for this weekend. First of all, we know that Port Clinton has entered a state of emergency and Toledo has closed Cullen Park and its floodgates. As of 1 p.m. today, ferry services were suspended to the Lake Erie Islands. Cedar Point also closed early, and the grounds of Perry's Monument were flooded and closed, with detours established around 12:30 p.m. for several flooded roads in Ottawa County. Keep up with our live blog on WKYC.com for all of the updates. Now, it's not just today that there were flooding issues. A Put-in-Bay officer actually rescued a family from a flooded car yesterday. This is a great time to remind ourselves of the phrase, turn around, don't drown, okay? If you see a flooded road, don't try to power through it. It's not worth it. All too often, your vehicle cannot make it through that flooded road, and a family learned that yesterday. On Thursday, with rain and storms coming into the area, a Put-in-Bay police officer, Tyrone Sanders, had to rescue a family from a flooded car. The Put-in-Bay Police Department shared those photos on Facebook. You can see the officer wading through the water, carrying a scared child away from a pickup truck. Okay, this wasn't a sedan, this wasn't a small car, this was a pickup truck that had gotten submerged and the people needed to be saved. Now, thankfully, there were no fatalities or injuries reported from the incident, but remember, turn around, don't drown. Let's take a look at national news today. Republicans have blocked the bipartisan investigation into the deadly January 6th riot in Washington, D.C. The Senate vote was 54-35, and that was then 6 votes shy of the 60 votes needed in order to even consider the bill that the House passed. Now, this bill would have formed a 10-member commission to look into the January 6th events. It would have been equally split between Republicans and Democrats. 6 Republicans voted to move forward on the commission with Democrats. Now, this was the first successful use of the Senate filibuster in President Joe Biden's presidency, and it, of course, brings up conversation again of should it be done away with? It is a procedural move typically used to kill legislation, and in the Senate, it requires 60 votes to move ahead rather than the simple majority in the 100-member Senate. Now, if you were paying attention to that vote count, it was 54-35. You may have realized that's not 100% of our senators. That's not 100 votes. 11 senators missed the vote. There were 9 Republicans that missed it and 2 Democrats. Now, even if those 2 Democrats had been there and voted for it, still not enough to meet that 60-vote threshold to move to consideration of the bill. But still, 11 of our senators not there today. That's a particularly high number of people to be absent for quite a high-profile vote. Some of those senators said they had scheduling conflicts. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers. These global and national numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. The total number of global reported cases of COVID-19 is now at 169,107,038. Here in the U.S., we have 19.6% of those COVID-19 reported cases, with 33,224,884 reported cases. There have been 3,514,082 reported global deaths related to COVID-19. We have 16.9% of those deaths here in the U.S., with 593,466 reported COVID-19 deaths. Here in Ohio, we have the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. The ODH reports 660 new COVID-19 cases in the last day. That's down from yesterday. And we do now have updated numbers about reported deaths, a considerable number of more reported deaths since Tuesday, 108 more to be exact. That total number now at 19,861 people who have died here in Ohio related to COVID-19, according to ODH. We've seen 81 new hospitalizations in the last day, with 713 people currently in the hospital being treated for COVID. Out of those, 210 of them are being treated in the intensive care unit, and we've seen 14 new ICU admissions in the last day. Let's take a look at the vaccination picture now. Here in Ohio, almost 40% of Ohioans are completely vaccinated. That's more than 4.6 million people and more than 20,000 in the last day. More than 45% of Ohioans have started the vaccination process against COVID-19. That's more than 5.2 million people, and almost 20,000 people have started that process in the last day. Now, as our numbers have improved here in Ohio and more people do get vaccinated, things will be opening up soon. One of those things that will be opening up includes Progressive Field. Those restrictions will all be lifted, as Governor DeWine said, on June 2nd. So Progressive Field will soon go back to full capacity. This weekend, not quite at full capacity. But what we are talking about today is we're taking another look at one more name when it comes to what the tribe will be renamed. We're looking at the Cleveland Baseball Club today. Now, we've done an in-depth look at the different possible names, at least the ones that have been floated among the community, the popular ones. Today, we're taking a look at maybe no name at all, or Cleveland Baseball Club. Now, this is a trend that's been popular in Major League Soccer. You take a look, you've got the Los Angeles Football Club, the Atlanta United Football Club. There was even an attempt to rebrand the Columbus Crew Soccer Club as just Columbus Soccer Club, but fans were not having that. So the organization switched gears. They decided to keep Crew as part of the name. But another place where we've seen this is in the NFL in a similar situation, the Washington Football Club, which dropped its name because sponsors and brands had said they wouldn't be working with the team if they didn't change the name from something that people find offensive, right? Well, Cleveland Baseball Club has a little bit of support here in the Northeast Ohio area. We had a poll out, and we had 6 choices in that poll for the potential names. In 4th place, Cleveland Baseball Club landed with 15.2% of the vote. Owner Paul Dolan, though, did say at the beginning of this conversation of changing the name of the tribe, he said that we don't want it to be the Cleveland baseball team or some other interim name, referring to what the Washington Football Club did. He said they'll continue to use the same name until they've identified the next name, and that will hopefully take them through multiple centuries. So really a long-term investment there in terms of what the new name will be for the team, but we do not know when that will happen. We know it's not expected to happen this season, might not even happen next season. So we are keeping an eye on that. And if you want to take a look at all of that coverage for the potential names, just head to WKYC.com. There are multiple stories on it. Our digital producer, Tyler Carey, did a really nice job with that. So you'll want to check that out. Now, we have more details about the upcoming inaugural Freedom Fest in honor of Juneteenth here in Cleveland. It will be on June 19th. Every year on June 19th, it's a day to remember that it was that day in 1865 when the last people who were enslaved in Texas were freed after the end of the Civil War. So what will be happening here for the first inaugural Juneteenth celebration here in Cleveland, it'll be an all-day event. It'll be free and open to the public. There will be family-friendly activities, including live music and entertainment from the Caramoo House. There will be performers. There will be interactive art demonstrations and a pop-up vendor village. This will be sponsored by Jack Casino, and it'll be highlighting Black businesses and entrepreneurs here in the Cleveland area. There will also be an Elders Corner, children's activities, including reading and board games, and there'll be food trucks, drink options. It'll be a great time. So this is in partnership with Caramoo House and the Downtown Cleveland Alliance and Ingenuity Cleveland. They're hosting this. It's Saturday, June 19th from noon to 10 p.m. That'll be at Mall C, right in the heart of the city. Now, this weekend, if you were planning to go to Cedar Point, that's not going to happen for you today. Cedar Point closed early today. They closed at 2 p.m. due to the weather conditions, which is kind of a bummer for people who were hoping to check out that new ride, Snake River Expedition. Now, that was supposed to open for the first time today. It was supposed to open in 2020, but that didn't happen, of course, because of the pandemic. Well, now people will have to wait just a little bit longer, but here's the lowdown on Snake River Expedition when the park does reopen. It's got animatronics, and it's a riverboat ride. It has actors, too, that take guests on a ride around the winding Snake River that surrounds Adventure Island. And anyone can ride this ride. You have to be 46 inches tall to ride it by yourself, but anyone can ride it if you're accompanied by someone who is at least 46 inches tall. And service animals are allowed on this, too. There are boats that were designed specifically for Cedar Point, and again, they are describing this as the ride that you can bring anyone on. You can bring your baby, your grandma, your grandpa, your aunts, your uncles, everybody. That's how Cedar Point says it. Now, speaking of Memorial Day weekend, Monday is Memorial Day, May 31st. This is the day that we honor the people who have died serving our country in our U.S. military. So as we think about that, we have a list of parades that will be happening on Monday up on WKYC.com. And they are various times throughout the day on Monday, May 31st, everywhere from Avon Lake, Bedford, and Brecksville to Seven Hills and Westlake. So make sure you check that out if you'd like to watch a parade and honor those who truly gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom on this coming Monday, Memorial Day. That's it for your 3 News Now update for Friday, May 28th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, and I will see you back here on Monday with more 3 News Now. Between now and then, everyone stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.